Hey everybody, Bill Evans here. I've had a lot on my mind since the LTD forum on the 29th and the LTD rally. I type with two thumbs, so I thought it'd be a lot easier if I just made a video. First with the LTD forum, it was good. We had standing room only in the room. We had a little over 30 people there, pilots there, plus some spouses. So it was a great turnout. Susan Staples had the great idea of doing the Facebook Live and putting it out there for everybody to watch. So anyway, thank you, Susan, for that idea. I want to go over some things that I don't think I got across in my presentation very well. It has more to do with contract talks, where we are, and unifying as a group, as a voting bloc. I update the LTD list monthly. It's very time consuming. I have to get on American Airlines websites and things like that and go through. I started putting the list together. Hopefully we get this wing to wing working well, and we can start reaching out to all the pilots that are coming on each month. Just starting LTD, but during that process, I got to wondering, well, how old is everybody? Where are they based? And then I got to thinking, how many of them can vote? As you know, APA, well, they have 16 different codes they can use to put us in different classifications. 2 of those codes can vote. So I went through. Currently, we have about 940 that are out, and that's as of the beginning of January. I need to update the list again here pretty soon, but it stays right about there. Of those, there are 344 pilots that are either on disability and still active, being on disability less than 3 years, or that are unpaid sick and active, 344. Then there's also quite a few pilots like me, David, Celeste, Michael, John, who have all been on disability before. We all know how important it is, and we're all back now from disability, and we understand that things need to be fixed for the people that are out now. So I would say that we could get upwards 800 to 1,000 pilots that would fall into that voting block of helping everybody improve the plans that they're on now. APA made their offer in February of 2019 to the company for LTD. It's one of the first things they went out and asked for. So doing that, hold on here. During that offer, they went in, they asked for, greatly improved LTD, obviously. They asked for 60% pre-disability income with a cap of $16,000. They asked for 401k contributions equivalent to what you had before you went out on disability, so you would not take a hit on the 401k contribution. No offsets. They asked to make depression, that type of illness, they asked to make those unlimited instead of the 24 months it currently is. Keep substance at 24 months, and there was more to go along with their offer. I went and asked the negotiating committee, I said, does this include all the pilots that are out now on all the different plans? And I got back that it was, the APA asked to capture the pilots on the crappy 2012 plan only. That's a quote. So what about the pilots on the U.S. Air plans? The Legacy American 2004 plan, the America West plan. I said, what, did you not even ask to represent those pilots at the table? Kind of surprised that they wouldn't even ask. American Airlines offer. They came back, it was very much like Delta, 50% pre-disability income, no cap, no offsets, 401k contribution, the same as when you went out. They did cap their mental at 36 months though, and also bumped up the substance to 36 months from 24. their offer on paper was actually it was a comprehensive proposal covering all topics of our contract. LTD was a bullet point underneath quality of work life for some reason. I'm not sure how many people are affected by quality of work life while they're out on disability. It should have been under benefits, but regardless, it was there. When you go ask a company if they want to include all the pilots in all the plans, they will tell you that they are definitely willing to look at that, and now is an excellent opportunity to do it. I told a story at the forum a few months ago. I was talking to a pilot going on disability, and when we were done talking, I said, your name sounds familiar. Where do I know you from? He said, well, I used to be a negotiator for the union back on an earlier contract, and he said, funny thing is, I bumped into a company negotiator the other day, and just as I was leaving a restaurant, so we sat down and talked a bit, told him how I was going on disability. And he said, our pilot said, that's one thing we never fixed during the contract was LTD. And the company negotiator said, yeah, y'all never asked. So, keep that in mind. If you don't ask, you're never going to get it. And also, I do believe that all these pilots that are out on all these plans are union members, and the APA is supposed to be representing them at the bargaining table. Everything I'm saying here, I'm not working against APA. I refer people to APA all the time, and I would much rather be working with APA to make things better for all of our pilots on disability. To get them to do that, you need to raise awareness about what's going on right now. At the forum, we handed out these really nice LTD hats. We wore these over to the APA rally that was later that evening. The Unity rally started at 6 o'clock. I'm going to post a link to that video, to that rally, below somewhere in the comments here. So I'd like you to go there and watch. There is a question and answer session that starts 44 minutes into it. I asked the first question, and it had to do with the offsets, and we all know about the current offsets on the current plan, and everybody wants to get rid of them. American and APA, they all want to get rid of them. I said, well, how many people in here are military? Do you know there's a VA disability offset on the America West plan? Do you know that there's a military retirement offset on the U.S. Air 2003 plan? How many pilots are U.S. Air? That 2003 plan, when they went into bankruptcy, their retirement went to PBGC. If you're an active pilot right now from U.S. Air and you hit 60, you can start drawing that PBGC retirement. If you're out on that U.S. Air plan, disability plan, and you hit 60 and you try to draw your PBGC, the company takes it. It's another offset. So my question is, is APA going to be driven to get rid of all the offsets on all the plans for all the pilots that it represents? You can go and watch the answer there. Next up was Jay Straub. He also said, hey, what about me? I'm out here on an old plan. Are you going to represent me? Watch the answer there. You get to the third question. As a guy, he's hard to see because our Vice President, Patrick O'Rourke, was standing there arguing with John Whitten about long-term disability. John's been out. He was at the rally. Anyway, for some reason, Patrick decided that on camera was a good time to sit there and belittle a guy on disability about raising awareness on the plan. So go there, watch it. It starts 44 minutes into it. Again, I'll post a link for it when I'm done here. Another pilot said that, and I've heard this a lot from board members, and one reason I left was so that I could better represent the pilots on disability. They always say, you're hurting your cause. You're hurting your cause. Well, first they're calling it my cause. It seems like it should be their cause as well. So I guess, I kind of flash back to the LOS Now crowd. They were going for length of service. Everybody was getting upset with them at the union. And eventually, LOS Now, they did get their goals met, and they did get their length of service. A lot of people seemed angry about that. I don't understand why. It just seems like the right thing to do. Why is the right thing to do something that APA wants to get angry about? I don't get it. But so when I hear this, you're hurting your cause, I go, well, what's the alternative here? To go back where we were a couple years ago, nobody say anything about it, so it never gets fixed. APA doesn't have to waste capital on it. You know, is that what they prefer? It's not what I prefer. I don't think asking politely for them to represent all the pilots is really hurting a cause. Another thing you'll hear a lot is increased costs, and you'll see that in some of the answers to these questions. I don't really buy into that argument too much. My crew meal has a cost. I said that at the forum. Everything has a cost in negotiations, and you know, we just want APA to represent every APA pilot, not just the ones that seems to be easy to represent. As far as increased costs, you know, American Airlines just built 4 big buildings, just capital expenditures. Doug is just happy to get up and talk at a Crew News with a smile on his face about how many hundreds of millions he's pumping into capital expenditures. It seems to me they could put a bigger oven in that new headquarters and bake a bigger pie for all of us. That might take care of some of these costs. So again, we've got a voting bloc that's probably close to 1,000 strong. We need to go, you know, if we all voted with the same goals in mind, improving the lives of all pilots that are out on disability now, maybe that's something worth talking to each other about, and making that a goal. How many people voted in the last election? You know, if we're close to 1,000 strong, look at these elections. How close are they? If there's a close election, maybe we can swing it in the favor of the pilots on disability and getting things fixed once and for all. So again, just you know, looking for getting a unified vote, getting the same goals, the same message out there, and again, hopefully working with APA to achieve that and get what American has taken away from us through multiple bankruptcies, U.S. Air and American. I think that's all I have right now. It's all the notes I have in my hand, but I'll post that link. Go watch the question and answer session. It starts 44 minutes into the video, and throw some ideas out here.